I'm wearing a Porsche shirt in my Porsche video. I'm a good YouTube guy. Do Porsches confuse you? Can't you wrap your head around all the numbers related to their models and generations? You are not alone. The numbers are all over the place throughout history. There is little to no noticeable pattern for us to know what generation this is, what engine displacement it has, or so on and so forth. And because of that, I had confused the 993 with the 964 a handful of times. Yes, I know. That's why I decided to make two different videos about the 993 and the 964 to explore the differences between those two, so I don't confuse them ever again. Although I probably will anyways, and the Porsche enthusiasts will come together with torches and try to unleash their wrath on me. The 964 is one of, if not the most iconic generation of the 911 Porsche. A lot of you know it by its look. It's been in the Need for Speed games, and it was even the main rival car in One Gun Midnight. This amazing machine is an iconic timepiece that managed to capture the essence of the retro age of the 80s. It's a story that dates back to the year 1986, when the chief designer, Benjamin Dimson, was put in position to put the old design of the 911 to rest after a long 25-year run, replacing it in 1989 with the iconic shape that we all know today as the 964. It kept the 911 formula by having the engine in the back with the layout of a rear-wheel drive, and it also had an all-wheel drive version, while offering three different body designs to suit everyone's needs. A two-door coupe, a convertible slash a cabriolet if you want to call it, and a target top. It was also the first Porsche to ever have a Tiptronic automatic transmission, which means you can shift into manual mode if you want things to be a bit spicy. And to make things even spicier, it got the best flat six in the market. Probably the only flat six in the market back in the day. A 3.3 turbocharged flat six and a 3.6 naturally aspirated flat six, plus a turbocharged version of that as well. And the best part is that they're all #aircooled. There was also an ultra rare 3.8 liter version of that 3.6 liter. This generation had a complete redesign of its suspension, which included the removal of the crash-inducing torsion bars and replacing them with coil springs, which means the 964 was way more stable than its predecessor on higher speeds and around corners. And to make it even better, they added an active aero kit to it. So whenever you hit 80 kilometers an hour, that rear spoiler would go up. Now let's talk numbers. And knowing Porsche, this is going to be a little bit complicated. So get your notebook out, grab a cup of coffee, and do 100 push-ups, because oh boy, you are going to need it. Keep in mind that this is all based on information that I have found online and research that I have done. So if I made any mistakes, please let me know down in the comments, and take it with a grain of salt. Please don't kill me, Porsche fans. The first gen of the 964 came with two different variants, the Carrera 2 and the Carrera 4. Carrera 2 stood for rear-wheel drive and Carrera 4 stood for all-wheel drive. They both had a 3.6 liter naturally aspirated flat six engine, pushing 247 horsepower. That made it do 0 to 60 in 5.5 seconds and 5.7 seconds for the Carrera 4 models. A year later, they released the turbo versions of the 964, which had the 3.3 liter turbocharged flat six that made up to 376 horsepower in the Turbo S models, and it dropped down the 0 to 60 time to 4.7 seconds. Later on, a turbocharged version of the 3.6 liter flat six was released. That made 380 horsepower, allowing it to go even faster and dropping down the 0 to 60 to 4.4 seconds. Then the RS and the RSR versions were released, with the original 3.6 liter and the bored out version to 3.8 liters that was turbocharged. These were the rarest of them all. Now you'd ask how many 964s were made, and the answer would be a total of 63,000 964s were produced, and only around 2,200 of these examples were RS models, while only a handful of them were RSR race cars. Now if you're a Porsche guru or a Porsche keyboard warrior, I don't discriminate, please feel free to correct me down in the comments below if I made any mistakes or if I left something out. Now we all know about the RWB Porsches, but that needs a whole new episode on its own. But for now, it's just gonna be an honorable mention in this episode. They're pretty cool though. Click here to see why the 993 is so special and what improvements it made on its predecessor, the 964. Leave a like if you enjoyed this episode and if you like my hat. If you don't like it, then just leave a dislike, it doesn't do anything anymore. Let me know in the comments what car do you think is so special that I should make a video about. Subscribe to bring back Porsche's
#aircooled.